Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm here to talk about The Walking Dead Season 9, but specifically Episode 12, because this past Sunday's episode had a lot of Easter eggs that I want to discuss, mainly with Beta and his really cool outfit. So we're going to discuss the Easter eggs in this video today, and if I miss any, which I probably will, because you know how The Walking Dead is, they have little Easter eggs all over the place. So feel free to comment any Easter eggs that I might have missed. But with that being said, let's get started. So the whole reason this Easter egg hunt began is because Ryan Hurst had an interview with Entertainment Weekly, which he said that he helped design his costume, and there's Easter eggs like all over his costume. So we're gonna go ahead and read exactly what he said. So the question was, I was talking to Angela and she said that you helped come up with some of the look and the costume for Beta. What was your input in terms of that? And then Ryan Hurst said, I wanted to just steal a little bit from all the best people on the show. There are little tiny Easter eggs if you look closely at Beta's costume. There are some little Easter eggs in there of little pieces that may resemble other characters on the show. And that was sort of done consciously. I'm not going to reveal much more than that. Alright, so let's take a look at Beta and his costume. So the first thing I want to point out is his belt, because his belt is definitely resembles Rick's belt. Now, This is something that everybody's been talking about way before Ryan Hurst gave this interview. Like, there was like a silly theory going around that Rick was Beta, which was really funny just because of the belt resemblance. And let me just say, if Rick came back as Beta, that would have been the biggest plot twist in television history. But that is very similar to Rick's belt, I will say that. And it could be the same belt, because if you remember, Rick took off his belt to pull himself off the rebar, right? And I'm pretty sure he didn't put it back on. I think his priority was to get away from the walker. So who knows? Maybe Beta came across that belt and took it, but whether or not if it is the same original belt, that's definitely like what he's referring to when he says Easter eggs that kind of resemble other characters. Now, this next Easter egg jumped at me way back in November when we got the first trailer, for Season 9B with Beta. It's the red scarf, because that's obviously resembling Negan's red scarf, which he hasn't had for a while, but again, I'm pretty sure this is a different red scarf. But again, that's a very, iconic piece of clothing to Negan. So, it makes sense why he would want that for Beta. Now, the next thing that came at me is his trench coat, because that is obviously a very big trench coat. And who else in The Walking Dead wears a big trench coat? It's Jesus. And I think that's what he may be referring to with this big trench coat, because the Whisperers, their first victim was Jesus. So I think it makes sense why if he was designing his costume and wants like iconic pieces of clothing, I feel like Jesus would be that character, because they took him out first. Now, he could have gone with the beanie, but then Beta would look very silly, so I'm sure that's why he went with the trench coat. It could also be another, mini resemblance to Negan, because Negan did also wear a jacket, like a big jacket, but his was a leather jacket, so I'm sure this is I'm leaning more towards Jesus with this one. But, Beta's outfit as a whole, it definitely stands out. Like, if I could, label it as one person, it would definitely be Negan, because of the big jacket, because of the red scarf, and mainly because of that red scarf, because that's very iconic to Negan. So, I really hope sometime in the future, I don't know if it's going to be this season or next season, I really hope Negan runs into Beta, because that's going to be very funny. I'm sure Negan is going to have a very, hilarious reaction to Beta, because of how similar he's kind of, his attire is to him. But I don't know if it's going to happen this season, most likely next season. But moving on, let's talk about his shirt. So Beta's shirt also stands out a lot. It's a shirt that says "Have a nice day." Now, I'm not sure how this is an exact relation to The Walking Dead, and it doesn't have to be, not every single piece of clothing is, like, he didn't say every single piece of clothing is, but that shirt, "Have a nice day," is a very popular shirt. Like, we've seen that before in other TV shows and movies, because it's just like a popular shirt out there. So, I think it's funny that a character like Beta is wearing that, but that's also, his costume is very, like I said, it stands out a lot. So I did like how, it's really cool how he helped out with his costume and made his costume very iconic, because with The Walking Dead, and pretty much all TV shows and all movies, I think an outfit is one of the most iconic things for a character, because we can recognize them. Like, we recognize, Rick's belt, we recognize Rick's shoes and his pants, Negan's outfit. Like, Beta's already a very iconic character because of how tall he is. And his mask, don't forget, he never takes off his mask, both in the TV show and the comics. It looks like in the TV show they're doing the same thing, because we saw we saw him at the Whisper camp with Alpha, and she took off her mask. The other Whisperers took off their masks, but Beta still didn't. And I think there was like an interview on The Talking Dead where Ryan Hurst said that he was keeping his mask on during set too. So it's pretty cool how he's staying true to that character. And then obviously the costume, you know, his actual clothing definitely helps, you know, make him stand out. But I was trying to look for any images of his lower half. I couldn't find any good ones. I have this one right here of him when he was grabbing Henry off the ditch. And it looks like he's just wearing like regular brown shoes and regular pants. So nothing too crazy there. But if I missed anything within his costume, like any Easter eggs, because his costume is definitely loaded, let me know in the comments down below, because there's a lot there. But with that being said, let's move on and talk about some of the other Easter eggs in this episode 12, because there were quite a few that I want to go through. So The Walking Dead posted this on Twitter, and this was really interesting because it completely flew over my head. At first I was like, wait, they were wearing the same exact clothes, but then I remembered Henry gave Lydia some clothes, but it turned out to be Maggie's clothes now that I realized. But yeah, this Easter egg I really did like. And, you know, this outfit was pretty iconic for Maggie too. So for the next Easter egg, it involves Negan. Now, you may be thinking, like, where is the Easter egg in this? But on The Talking Dead, they did say that this wasn't just any book, you know, Negan was reading. He was actually reading a book about law, like a law book, which is really, really interesting because it kind of sets up some interesting stuff. So first of all, Michonne was actually a lawyer before the apocalypse, and that's according to the comics. I'm not sure if they really talked about that in the TV show. I don't remember them, but I'm pretty sure, you know, I'm assuming Michonne would have the same past, you know, being a lawyer. It kind of makes sense with the whole council thing. And then obviously now with the law books, I definitely believe that Michonne was a lawyer also in the TV show before the apocalypse. Another thing this sets up is the possibility of Negan, you know, being more involved with their council and even possibly taking like a lead role later on, or probably next season when Michonne leaves, because we saw in, you know, episode 12 that Michonne was like, you know, she was not budging at all. Like, even though she knows about the Whispers, she knows they're a huge threat, you know, she still doesn't want to take Negan out of the cell, and, you know, even for him to help, even though, you know, I'm sure she knows Negan, because Negan was kind of, you know, selling himself. He was like, you know, I know how to lead, you know, I can help you guys around here. But Michonne was like, nope, you're not getting out of here, buddy. So because of that scene and because of that episode, I don't think Negan is gonna leave the cell until season 10, like completely. I don't think he's gonna be out of the cell like 100% until Michonne leaves in season 10. But once Michonne does leave in season 10, I can definitely see Negan taking some sort of leadership role, because, you know, the fact that he's reading a law book, I feel like he's changed. You know, he went back with Judith to Alexandria. He didn't want to hurt anybody. He didn't hurt anybody. I feel like Negan is, you know, slowly changing for the better. I was still really hoping he would somehow save Daryl this season. I don't think that's gonna happen anymore. It could happen next season, because it's gonna be interesting to see those two get along. You know, because I'm sure after Michonne leaves, you know, Negan can most likely talk everybody else at Alexandria, you know, to let him out and to lead, especially with Judith being on his side. But Daryl's the one that I'm kind of stuck on. Like, if Daryl goes back to Alexandria full time, which he might, you know, we never know. We don't know what's going to happen next season just yet. We're going to have to wait for this whole season to play out. But that's like the one character where I'm like, I don't know how Negan's going to persuade Daryl, you know, to be out and, you know, helping out with the Whispers. Now, this next Easter egg is within the credits that we got for season 9, the new one. So there was a difference between the credits from season 9A and then season 9B. So when Angela Kang's name came up in season 9A, we had this walker here, right? Nothing too crazy, just a walker. And then they just changed it. So for season 9B now, when they have Angela Kang's name here, the same shot and everything, but they added a whisper here and this other walker. So that's really, really cool. And it's just like a little touch they added, but I did like it. Those opening credits actually have a lot of Easter eggs. Like, I was reading this article from this producer from The Walking Dead, and he said like they keep adding little things here and there within the opening credits. So really cool. And, you know, be sure to be on the lookout for any new Easter eggs that come out in those credits. We know Samantha Morton's name is now there. Tom Payne's name unfortunately isn't there anymore, so it looks like we're not going to get any more flashbacks of our boy Jesus. But with that being said, I just quickly wanted to share these you know, these Easter eggs with you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If I missed anything, which I probably did, because, you know, The Walking Dead has a ton of Easter eggs all over the place, let me know in the comments down below which Easter eggs I might have missed. Again, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating, and if you are a fan of The Walking Dead, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys later.